Let's get ready to grumble!
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the Royal Grumble. I am your host, Graham, and sitting in the corner to my right, bouncing along with the tune, it's Dan.
Hi, I'm getting announced first this week.
You're getting what?
Isn't it normally Daryl that you
I shake it up, depending on who I like more.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I didn't say I announced the first person that I like more.
I assumed.
Sitting in the corner to my left, you. All right.
Hiya.
It's Daryl. Hello.
You're
Got
right.
your little Golden Lovers t-shirt on, haven't you? Have you got that
Yeah.
Golden Lovers t-shirt?
Yeah.
Oh, you like little
I don't
t-shirts?
wear it when you guys are coming over,
No.
just so it's
Why?
not awkward in case you wear it.
You like little
Oh.
t-shirt buddies?
Yeah?
Yeah.
But we are all New Japan up this weekend.
Yeah.
Well, you aren't. But
Not really, no. I'm wearing a Sheffield Wednesday shirt, so...
we're representing 3 different factions here.
Yeah.
But 2 of us are representing 3.
Am I Los Ingobernables?
You can put the hat on if you
Because
want.
you can't Ingobernable this, right? So you can't govern me. That's the thing. Good to start with a strong start to the show, isn't it? That's what we really want. Right, let's get into it, okay? You're talking about factions, you're talking about teams, collectives of men. Team Hell No are back, baby!
Yay.
Yeah!
Yay.
We saw them wrestle.
We did?
We saw them wrestle at WrestleMania 29, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yep.
They were champions, weren't they?
They were.
Tag team champions.
They beat Dolph Ziggler. Good
Yeah.
times.
What happened after, mate?
Good
With Dolph Ziggler
good
specifically.
time. Well, actually, if you remember, that was before I hated him. So it was fun.
Oh, okay.
So I was like,
Well,
remember?
so you hated him because he got a concussion?
No, I hated him because of him being no different now to back then.
Okay.
Apart from that 2 weeks when he came back with Drew McIntyre when it was
happened
slightly
is-
different.
Graham assumed that the noodle hair was functional rather than just a fashion choice. He thought that it was to cushion blows. And when it turned out it wasn't, he realised he was just a noodle head F word.
Ooh,
Yeah.
blows.
Yeah.
So, it's just Dolph Ziggler. I've got to mock him in some way, haven't I? That was good. He's still the Intercontinental Champion, FYI.
Yeah, I hope he breaks all the records.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what records?
Oh, no.
Do you think they're planning
Top
to-
man's still the record holder?
Do you think they're planning to like put it on him and taking it off him like 5 times so that he's the record Intercontinental Champion holder, or 4 times? 4 times.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I'd do that.
Because they are that petty. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
But then Jericho will probably just go to ring up New Japan, won't he, and say, I've changed my contract. I want a Luke's title, but then win it back again.
Yeah, and I want
Top.
6 figures for doing it because that's what I get out of bed for.
And I'm not going to work out for the match either.
No, he's fat, isn't he? Little Chris Jericho.
Yeah, but he's Japanese character and it is allowed to be.
So does this mean, like, I haven't checked on his political career? Does this mean that Kane has lost the election, or when's that?
No, maybe this is like a boost for the election.
But you know what it is, though, don't you?
Didn't Kane say that
Do you know-
Team Hell No was one of his favourite runs in
Yeah,
WWE?
absolutely. Yeah.
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 So it might
I'm not
be
saying he's
fair.
coming. I'm not saying he's being forced back. If anything, he probably wants to come back.
Yeah.
But you know what it is, don't you?
Go on.
Well, Daniel Bryan's going through all his greatest hits before he leaves in September.
Yeah.
That's what it is. No, that's what it is. Like this, if anything, makes me more convinced he's leaving. You know what I mean? He's leaving. It's definitely happening. And they're like, right, well, whilst we can, get Team Hell No back together, get the merch sold on that one, get the Yes merch out, right? Maybe you'll do No for a bit as well. Just for laugh.
Someone call Batista up and see if he's free for SummerSlam before his new film comes out to see if we can redo the triple threat match.
He's not free for SummerSlam, and I'll tell you why, Dan. You mentioned it there. Batista's in a brand new film, a fantastic new film that's coming out in September. With
It's got Pearce Brosnan in it.
well, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4th best James Bond.
Wait, go through this list.
I'll level with you. I just said 4th for hilarity.
Okay.
I literally don't. I actually don't.
Well, you
rank them.
can skip over the Welsh ones, can't you?
Can you?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, kind of.
Yeah, I'm ruining it. Go on.
Do you want to get into this?
I sort of do. I sort of want you to do it. Yeah.
I'm all right, mate.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Stop talking about. Anyway,
Brosnan was my Bond when I was growing up.
Brosnan was in my favourite James Bond film, still to this day.
Goldeneye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the
Goldeneye's
best
great.
one. The best one's Casino Royale, but it's my favourite one. Casino Royale is the best one then.
I wasn't a fan of Casino Royale.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Right, isn't it generally accepted that that's the only good Bond film? Right.
Only good. Like,
well, I mean, let's be honest. Okay, the others are fine, but that isn't Casino Royale the only one that's good as a Bond film and a film.
I really enjoyed Skyfall.
No, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, you are doing it.
I'm
You
not
do
doing
it.
Do not. We cannot have a full show.
I'm going to goad you into it.
I mean, the Daniel Craig ones, I thought Skyfall was the best, but there's loads of other better Bond films.
Yeah. What are the
Stop getting Bond wrong.
Reeled him in.
What other good ones are there? Goldfinger.
That's not the end of the beginning.
Glang. Glang. This is all we're doing, isn't it? That's all we need. Anyway, to go back to our action.
Nobody does it
my
better.
God,
Yeah,
that's
we'll leave it.
Sorry, everyone, because I'm wearing headphones and I can hear that. So
Yeah, I don't wear
apologise.
headphones.
No, you don't. Probably so you don't have to hear that.
Yeah, it's
But
because I
anyway-
resemble Craig David when I wear headphones. You know, like with the complexion.
Oh,
and
were you
the-
born to do it?
What?
That's the name of the album.
I thought
okay.
it was so you're not. I can't say the word now.
It's because it's racist.
Yeah,
it's-
there was going to be a racist joke in there. Not me doing a racist joke. I said you don't want to be confronted with the homophobia and racism you throw out. What we have to cut from the show every week.
I hear you're a racist now, Dan. Should we all be racist now? Because in the evenings are just like a cup of tea. Just throwing out all the references in.
Yeah.
Let's just not do a show.
I don't like these rumours you start about me that I'm racist and homophobic because I've got a Golden Lovers t-shirt on.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't think you've ever said anything properly homophobic on the show.
Right, can someone go back? Because I bet it won't be hard to find
I
somewhere.
can't. I definitely remember having to cut other stuff out.
He almost certainly has at least once gone, oh, hello. It's definitely happened, doesn't it? Definitely happened.
In reference to the Golden Lovers, it's happened.
Can we actually talk about Batista's film very briefly? Basically, it's a Sky Movies film. Always the best quality films. Like, the ones that are released in the cinema, and by cinema I use that in the loosest possible terms, and on Sky Movies at the same time.
Oh, that's good, because what you're going to say next means I don't have to cancel my Now TV for a few months.
What am I going to say next? You're going to need to lead me into it.
Well, I assumed because of the tweets that you were serious about.
Oh, yeah, we are
Film
absolutely bringing back the film club. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the Royal Grumble Film Club's coming back on September the 7th.
I thought
I've
we were
got-
going to have to go on a cinema trip and that.
No, it's all right. No,
I've got a question.
do it at your house.
Like, Batista's like a proper actor now, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
So why is he doing like a Sky film?
Well, I'll tell you why, right? Because if you imagine, he is a proper actor, but he's a proper, like, undercard actor, isn't he? You know, like, he's not leading, he's not The Rock, he's not leading a film. So,
yeah, I suppose.
like, you can get on the undercard, but, like...
Co-main event if you book him right.
It's like Nick Cage after he did, what was it called? One of the Ghost Rider films, anyway. And it's like, after a while, your headline ones are low level, but you can get into, like, Kick-Ass.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's...
Do you know Nicolas Cage in Con Air? Do you not think his accent was really weird?
Yeah.
You could just replace the word Con Air with any film.
Yeah, specifically Con Air.
Now, Connery does have a weird he's trying to do a southern accent, but I've seen films where he does a southern accent perfectly well. And then in this film, I don't know what the accent he was trying to pull off was. But it's the way he says bunny at the end.
Just the way he says anything. Yeah.
If you like film talk like this, come back for the Royal Grumble Film Club in September, because that's when the Batista film comes out.
I wish Nick Cage would do a wrestling film.
Ho, 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 ho. Said every Nick Cage film ever. That's Nick Cage in an igloo. Ho, 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 ho.
Can we just do like Raising Arizona instead of something?
What about Leaving Las Vegas?
Leaving Las Vegas is pretty good.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Wild at Heart. I'm a big fan of Wild at Heart.
Leaving Las Vegas is one of those great films where it's really good. And what's her name? Elizabeth Shue?
Yeah.
There you go. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Meanwhile, dog
Seen
bites
it.
knackers. Like,
I didn't even look at the thing.
I can't. Like, it's been written up there for about 5 minutes. I've been so excited about that. It in conjunction with Squander Rousey. Really, I should be writing headlines for wrestling websites.
Your pun works on top form at the moment.
It's on
the World
point,
Cup's
isn't
brought
it?
the best out of it.
It really has. Yeah, I'm really peaking at the right time.
Yeah.
So, dog bites knackers leg as he goes into an arena. Shinsuke Nakamura wasn't on SmackDown.
Why weren't on SmackDown, mate?
Well, I mean, you might as well tell me because you informed me tonight. I didn't know.
Police dog bit him.
Have you ever heard of the film White Dog?
No.
It's from the late 80s. It was banned in the UK for a while. It's a film about
So
a
of
dog.
course he's heard of it.
It got released eventually.
It's up
I have a
there in
copy
his
of it
bookshelf.
No, I do have a copy of it on my DVD
Of course he
shelf.
does. Like, I
Yeah.
deliberately
It's
put it there so he would admit that he had one.
It's about a dog that's bred to be racist. And it's... Where was SmackDown this week? Was it in a southern state?
I don't know.
Would AJ Styles feel at home in this state?
Why don't we just lie for this? Never let a lie get in the way of a good story, mate.
Yeah.
Say it was in the southern state. It was in a racist state.
It was in Alabama.
Yeah. You
Is
racist.
that a state? It is a state,
Whatever.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nakamura took a bullet for Shelton Benjamin, I think.
Yeah. Did he?
Well, because, you know...
Oh, yeah, because Shelton... Yeah, okay, because black.
Yeah.
Good.
Talking of blacks.
I knew he was going to do it. Do you know what? I nearly did it and didn't.
I'm loving this show this week.
I nearly did it and didn't, but Daryl could get away.
Can I just point out, I made that racist joke because I didn't do one about a Japanese man and a dog and there was a bite involved. I didn't do it. I resisted it.
Right.
Were you going to make a Taiwanese joke?
Yeah, I resisted it.
I had
was,
that in
yeah.
my head and I thought, Daryl will probably do it.
Yeah, I left it though.
It's not
Can I-
Taiwan. It's also not Taiwanese anyway, because Taiwan is definitely not Thailand.
I don't care. That's the racist point. It don't
Oh,
matter,
okay.
does it?
Ah, right. Yeah, good point. Yeah. If you're
Do
serious
you not
about
understand how racism works, mate?
I
You
think,
just brush them all like Tom all with one brush, don't you?
I think I'm beginning
And
to
then feather 'em.
understand. Obviously. Which is as
Moving on to Bobby Lashley.
But, oh my god.
I'm turning his mic down.
We had Lashley versus Reigns versus Mike Skills this week. They booked a number one contenders match for Extreme Rules, and
Roman,
then
I'm going to beat you down.
and they straight up cancelled it this week. So God
Right.
knows what's going on there.
Can I point out that I was quite excited for Lashley coming in?
Why?
Because he's been away for a while.
Here
and
we go.
and
Right.
like, obviously, like, I'm not even... Because I didn't watch TNA.
I
Of
know
course I
he's
didn't.
good. Well,
So like, he'd been away for a while. I thought, do you know what? He might have got good. Do you know, like, Tensai got good. So, like,
exactly. Yeah. It's exactly Giant Bernard. He was good in Japan.
yeah, so I thought, oh, he was good in Impact. He was good in Bellator. That's what I thought. So,
Yeah, obviously.
but talking of Bellator, Roman Reigns were like, oh, you went away and had a failed MMA career, which is a good way to build up one of your stars, isn't it?
Yeah, that went well.
And it wasn't really failed. I think he lost like 2 fights.
His win-loss record is better than Brock Lesnar's.
Yeah, I was
but
about to
obviously
say
the
that, yeah.
people that he fought aren't as good.
No.
Yeah, because he did the smart thing, I guess, and start from the bottom.
Yeah.
Wait, he did the smart thing. Brock Lesnar went in
yeah.
and beat Randy Couture for the belt.
Yeah, he
Eventually.
He still beat him though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. It's probably better, isn't he?
But he
Yeah.
did get leg locked by Frank Mir.
Then did he absolutely smash him on rematch?
And turned his face into a hamburger.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was beautiful, that, because I don't like Frank Mir that much.
Because he went proper wrestling, and, like, he were in cage, and there's that famous shot of him, like the camera's outside the cage, he's in the cage, he's growling and spitting at the camera.
My
It's
second
beautiful.
favourite MMA promo ever is after that match.
Yeah.
What,
The one
right?
where he says, I'm going to drink a Bud Light. I'm going to drink
Of course, like, because Bud Light wouldn't pay me any money.
Yeah. It's obviously not as good as Chael. What do you think of Michael Bisping as an opponent? Anderson Silva, you absolutely suck.
Where's Chael Sonnen? Is he still in that Bellator? I'm a heavyweight now.
Yeah, he's at
tournament?
Heavyweight Grand Prix.
It's him versus Fedor.
When?
In the final.
Him and Fedor. It's semi-final.
Is it semi?
Yeah, and he's
Don't
also
care.
doing a show on ESPN with Ariel Helwani now.
Well, okay. Yeah, because they're all UFC. Hold on. ESPN,
Yeah.
Ariel Helwani,
Yeah, he
and
left.
Chael Sonnen.
Yeah.
He
That
left
can't be
MMA.
long for this world.
It's called Ariel and the Bad Guy.
Yeah, but
Does
what I'm
it
saying
air
is,
online, though?
I don't know, but it still will matter to them, won't it? Because they hate Ariel Helwani, and they're probably not that keen on Chael Sonnen either. So that, like, if you're enjoying Ariel and the Bad Guy, just enjoy it while it lasts until it goes on to MMAfighting.com.
I think he's literally just started on ESPN like 2 weeks ago.
Right. Well, I mean, they're trialing. All I'm saying is they're trialing it, and when they eventually get across, they'll be like, right, that's good now. Bye. See you later.
And then Helwani will have a little cry again.
Yeah, almost certainly. Speaking of TV, the WWE TV deals that we reported recently were confirmed this week. So the stock is just going up and up and up and up and up.
Look at us with the news.
Well,
Look at us.
I know,
having
scoops.
Yeah.
So do you think, like, that's why Vince didn't bother? Because he's getting, like, this, like, $1
Yeah, I
billion. So, like, he's like, well, we'll just put Lashley out there and Roman Reigns. And...
We'll put it this way, right? You're in a job where you're in a position of responsibility. Okay.
Okay.
If in that position of responsibility you consistently did things that weren't that good, and they went, right, what we're going to do is we're going to give you more money.
That's kind of how it works, mate.
Okay, but let's pretend it's hypothetical.
Okay.
In this pretend hypothetical, which is totally not a real situation, how do you think you would react? Would you continue to do more bad things, or would you Would you strive to ensure that you improved yourself?
Yeah, I think I know what I do, mate.
I think we all know what you do.
We have established two things over the last few weeks when it comes to WWE main roster. Firstly, they ruin people. Bobby Lashley. Two.
No. Let's clarify that they've not ruined Bobby Lashley. He came in ruined.
He was off.
He left ruined.
Left ruined and came in
TNA
ruined.
did a good job booking him.
Oh,
WWE
do you know what?
can't.
Here we go. Oh, TNA did it. The giant Bernards.
Are TNA still a thing anymore?
Well, Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is they didn't do a good job, did they? Because they're dead. Like they died.
But anyway, the other thing WWE's doing is they have one of their trucks filled with the $1 billion put into coins where Vince swims in Scrooge McDuck style at every arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's Vincent.
Do you think because he's got it in coins rather than note form, the metal sort of like is like what's causing him to go blind? It's reacting.
It also gives him his tan.
Yeah.
I forgot that Vincent.
They uploaded a thing filmed in a green screen studio this week. It's for that Australian show they're doing.
Ah, yeah.
And Vince looks like he's been reanimated.
Oh my God.
Is the teleprompter like 2 inches from his face?
Well,
He's there like, coming to Australia.
but it's just...
What font size?
Next year, I'm going to say you're not allowed to pick it for Deathpool.
Right, that's that bad. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not about font size, it's how much the Skywriter costs.
Splendid. Speaking of the death pool, Ric Flair's daughter got naked.
That got brought up on the chat on the RevPro preview, on the RevPro New Japan preview show I did.
Splendid.
The Deadpool stuff saying, is Ric Flair dead yet? I want to know if you've got powers.
Could I say, whoever asked that, thank you. You are doing God's work.
I mean, I did teach his kid to swear, if you want.
We love our listeners. We love
Is
our
it
listeners.
insensitive to start a Twitter account called Is Ric Flair Dead Yet?
What, and then the day he dies, you can post a picture of me looking sad?
Yeah, definitely do that. Oh, if you don't do that now, you're doing yourself a disservice, frankly. Precisely. Yeah, anyway, what was it for? Is ESPN's body issue?
Yeah, so for people that don't know, it's not a porno. They get...
It didn't stop Daryl.
No, don't be like that. Like Ronda Rousey did it. She's all right, and they get famous athletes, don't they, to pose nudie.
Yep.
So like, there's this lesbian couple that I'm aware of. That one's
The way he says aware of, though, isn't it?
one's
Aware.
I have friends in the gay community.
not anymore. One's a basketball player, and one's a football player. So they pose with balls.
Like basketball, like where she probably does a lot of layup shots. Football, a lot of scissor kicks.
Yeah, a lot of them, mate.
Yeah, just a random.
Yeah, when I said football, I meant soccer, like because they're American, but like, so she plays soccer, not football.
Good.
And then there were other athletes as
I'm
well.
sure there were.
Serena Williams done it again.
I don't know. I didn't know she'd done
Isn't
it.
she? Is she having a baby or something?
I don't know.
I think she did do a nude photo shoot.
Oh,
whilst
they
she was
were a
pregnant.
baseballer. They were a baseballer. She were doing it.
I leveled. Yeah, I didn't even know like women's baseball was prominent in America.
Me neither.
I thought past the film League of Our Own, like there was no women's baseball.
Yeah, I'm
There
sure.
was no crying in it.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, we knew it must have existed, but we
Yeah.
just didn't really know a great deal about it, did we?
There's probably others, but they're the ones I've seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, Charlotte's done it, and they posted loads of stuff up saying how she's the first WWE superstar to be in the body issue. I mean, technically, it is true.
Yeah,
at the
you
time.
Can't count Rousey because she was a UFC star when it happened.
Mm.
But yeah, the way they do it. Excuse me, sorry if that got into the mic. The way they do it is like they cover it up so it's not a porn thing, but they actually wear or they use the stuff that they use in their sport. So like she's got her ring boots on when she's doing the bridge thing, and then she's got the robe on, like to cover most of herself up on one of them. What was she do a moonsault? Did you say?
Yeah, there's a video been posted of her doing a moonsault naked, and she does it. I was more confused with the fact because she does it while like covering her boobs, and that must be difficult to do a moonsault without your arms to kind of like pivot with.
Yeah.
Like for balance and everything, so that's quite impressive, like athletically.
Yeah, I was going to say that's quite an impressive athletic feat, but like, I mean, you positioned your hands there where basically, if you imagine that there's a bit more of a visual thing, which she had her sort of elbows pointed with both hands on her chin,
like doing the Pete Dunne pose,
right? Okay, I'm just going to say, what's covering her for JJ?
Nothing.
But she's doing a moonsault, isn't she? So
right.
So you can't. So she's facing away from you.
What? Oh,
Well,
okay, so
her back's to the ring, innit? So that when she flips over...
No, but it's shot from like the side of the rope.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just the angle means...
Oh, yeah, you're still going to see it though, aren't you?
No, lightning.
yeah.
Seen it before.
And she tries to she tries to do a moonsault, but I've seen everything. That's you see, that's what we're doing.
References.
That's all we're doing. We're entertaining. Funnily enough, we're doing it like there's an audience of like 3.
Yeah,
mad that, isn't it? Like, so it's a new way of interpreting it. We decided
the laptop
to do.
is here because I was going to try and do it on Twitch, but other stuff took precedent.
Yeah,
actually setting up the show,
recording it. So just remember that Dan didn't want you. He didn't want you. Not after last night.
You got 3 hours of Twitch last night.
Well, there you go. See, go back on it. Go back on Dan's New Japan Strong Style Evolved UK preview show.
One of the matches I actually got caught up in when I was recording it.
Yes,
I genuinely did. Suzuki versus Ishii at the very end of it.
He's so desperate for that match, isn't he? He's so desperate for that match that he's sitting watching it on.
No, but
Fire Pro.
The finish of it is great on Fire Pro. It came out really well, so I'm happy.
I think if you do meet and greet, you should go up to one of them and say, "Look, I've got an idea for your finish, lads," and have it all wrote down. So this is what you should do. And then
the 2 people are both very scary men.
Yeah, I think you should do it.
I still need me Nagata photo.
Get one of your mates to film it when you do it as well. That'd be fun.
I've only got one meet and greet this weekend, and I'm wearing his shirt right now.
Oh yeah, Rainmaker, innit?
Yeah. Did you see? I know this isn't on our format, but did either of you see the Suzuki versus Okada match that happened in Japan this weekend?
I saw pictures of it. It happened in
pictures were amazing,
rain, didn't it?
Yeah. So it was at the Pirate Festival, and it was Suzuki's 30th anniversary match, and it went a 30-minute draw with Okada. He bleached his hair for it and wore white trunks, and the match was outside in a monsoon, and it just looks amazing.
In other Japanese news, Asuka's having a match with James Ellsworth. Is that Japanese news or is that no?
Well, Asuka's Japanese, so yeah.
Yes, good. Got in there.
Yeah.
She's having a match with James
You
Ellsworth.
might as well be Man on Japan with Japanese scoops like that.
Well, exactly, mate. Exactly. I mean, it was on SmackDown.
So
that was a thing. We haven't even talked about the fact that Rusev is the number 1 contender for the WWE title, Dan. I thought you would have brought that up.
That's how little I've been paying attention to the
thing is that we recorded on Rusev Day, but it actually happened on Rusev Day.
Oh yeah.
So because we'd already recorded on Rusev Day.
It happened on a previous Rusev Day.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
but this is released on Rusev Day.
That is true, yeah. So it'll line up, but it won't be the same Rusev Day.
No.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So it was on a previous Rusev. Just remember that, okay, when listening. Glowcast were on SmackDown.
All of them?
No. All of them. Well, a lot of them are not Awesome Kong.
Okay. Mark Maron.
Okay.
But Mark Maron isn't the previous WWE talent.
But Alison Brie talked to Lana, which is amusing because obviously Alison Brie plays the woman whose character is Zoya. And so she was basically sort of on there going, quite similar characters, are we? Really, in a way. So very original, very very original. Yeah. CJ. I mean Lana, which is your real name.
Alison Brie saying to her, "Is it annoying that I got my boobs out for a better TV show than you did, Lana?"
Did she get them out for a TV show?
Who, Alison Brie or Lana?
No, well, obviously Alison Brie. I know that Lana.
Banshee.
Just want to Google that now, Daryl.
Yeah. Well, are we gonna have shall we do it during the break?
Yeah, obviously but we're gonna go into
Banshee 2Es.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So we're going to talk about obviously the great debate from last week that you brought up, and we're going to talk about NXT UK and Will Ospreay's name is on there for some reason. Stay tuned to find out. Ooh. But in the meantime, we're going to do some hardcore Googling.
Oh, Banshee.
Before the renaissance of British wrestling. Before the revolution. Before the progress. There was one company who pushed the boundaries. One company on the lips of British wrestling fans. One of the most controversial companies in British wrestling history. One company bringing pro wrestling dream matches to the UK.
Dearly beloved, we're gathered here tonight to celebrate the life of one PW.
The Royal Grumble brings to you the in-depth look at the company that brought them together. the company that brought eyes from around the world to a small town in the north of England. 1PW, version 1, 2005 to 2007.
Coming soon.
Subscribe now.
We do not owe you money.
It's the great debate. It's the great British debate. Royal Grumble show.com/Daryl. It's your turn. Do it.
Hiya.
Hello.
We did a debate before, me and Dan, one day when you were off.
One of my favourite episodes. I'm actually serious.
Yeah, where we just like argued about stuff, didn't we?
It was cracking.
That was fun.
Partly because I sort of lit the touch paper and threw a few things in, but
Yeah.
partly because it was genuinely entertaining.
So, I don't know if you remember this, but one of the things that we actually debated was as British wrestling peaked.
Yes, I remember you did do that.
Yeah, and I can't remember what we said, but, but we did debate that.
If we said it hadn't, we were wrong.
Yeah. So we today are gonna do a debate on is the WWE NXT UK brand a good thing or a bad thing for the British wrestling scene? Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So, Graham, do you want to tell the listeners which side you are on this?
I'm going to say it's mostly a good thing.
Okay. Dan, so you're on, obviously, the side of it being mostly.
Yeah.
There'll be shades of grey, obviously. It's just for the purpose of the show, you're going to be arguing positive and negative, but obviously, listeners, if you see Dan at a show, he don't hate the UK NXT brand. Let's just put that out, because, like, you don't go to
Although
the
if you want
show,
to act like he does, just shout abuse at him. I mean, it's fine. He can take it. In fact, he welcomes it. He's the guy with the big canvas.
What?
Your canvas
Oh,
thing.
yeah. Took me a second then.
He just walks around with a
He
canvas.
doesn't... I should...
This is my favourite guy.
He's waiting for the right moment to paint. No, he doesn't really think this. I'm being bad.
He spiked Trivet.
Nice.
So, who wants to go first?
Well, you didn't ask Dan what he was going to say, so...
What? I did. That was the whole thing. I said he's doing the negative side. Yeah.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Right,
Because that started your little diatribe.
Oh, okay, good. Diatribe. All right. Okay.
I'm in debate mode.
What ho, sir? Good squire and thee. Forsooth, I say.
Physically as well.
Forsooth, I say to thee, sir, thou art a villain.
I'll put this out there.
Go on.
To get us kicked off. So they've just announced 5 tapings. 5, 6, 4. So, several tapings.
8
of
if you want.
Cambridge, Birmingham, Liverpool, Plymouth.
4. Okay, 4.
Yeah.
All right, if you wanted to call each one an individual tape.
Yeah. Which will
Cumulatively with what we just saw, it makes 10.
But I mean, that's already happened.
I mean, if you add the Norwich ones as well, that could...
So, listeners, I just want to announce that Dan's won the debate this week.
Are you debating with him or me?
So they just announced these tapings on the back of the Royal Albert Hall show or shows. The wrestlers are getting, we call them workers in the industry, but the wrestlers are getting
Says former 1PW member down.
yeah, I don't know anybody. The wrestlers are getting bookings, they're getting paid well, we assume. They're getting more exposure because it's on the network. So Dan, I'm saying it's a good thing. That's going out there, boom.
I thought I was saying it's a good thing.
Well, I said, do you want to start? And nobody started, so
Right,
I put it out there.
I thought I was saying it was why have I become the moderator now? You're the moderator.
It's in the middle.
Do
It's in the
some
middle.
work.
Argue.
Right, where's the ball? The ball's in the middle, right. I've grabbed the ball. I'm tickling it now.
Okay.
So Dan's got to make something happen.
What?
Put your finger in.
It's the debate ball. Put your finger on it.
In it.
Tickle it. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Tickle the ball of debate.
So, oh crap, my microphone's going. While I would agree that all those are good points, one of the negatives that came out straight away is that WWE are restricting their talent from wrestling for certain companies. Now, while I will say first off, it's right that they shouldn't be appearing for every company because there's still some bad companies in the UK.
Do you want to name them?
No, but you could definitely do that after we finished.
Yeah. But two of the companies that they've outrightly said they're not allowed to work for are Defiant and RevPro, based on the fact that they have substantial streaming services. So first off, I would say, however substantial their streaming services, they're not WWE or New Japan or any of these massive companies. They have a streaming service that's available, but I won't say they're substantial to the point that WWE should be worried in the slightest by them. And secondly, I'd say they're two companies outside of the WWE sphere that can offer some of the best matchups outside of the style they're used to, which would only help them improve. For instance, Mustache Mountain have been appearing in RevPro recently and had an amazing tag match with Suzuki Gun, Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr. And that match got gift everywhere and everything, and only helped raise their profile in a way that they were wrestling New Japan talent. And those matches not only help the talent get better, it also helps raise the profile of that talent, and the fact that WWE is kind of allowing them to do that, and by restricting that, it's kind of restricting their opportunities.
Yeah, but in terms of restricting their opportunities, do you not think it's more a case of encouraging them to sort of refine their craft and focus on what they need to focus on where they're sort of earning their money now? It's a case of preparing them for, like, instead of what their previous model was, which was, right, straight up, rip them away from the company. That's it. Say bye-bye to wrestling in front of crowds. We'll put you on NXT in 6 months, but in the meantime, just go to Florida and work out. They're now sort of gradually going, right, well, okay, we'll give you the opportunity to improve your craft, work at select companies that we deem to be suitable, we deem to be high quality, and then eventually make the transition to NXT, as it seems like Pete Dunne and possibly British Strong Style the rest of British Strong Style are doing now.
I do agree with that to a point, but then I also think about, you mentioned the fact how they're getting regular money now and things like that, but they're still allowed to earn money outside of their WWE earnings. And I'll not say the actual figure, but I was told the figure that those three were quoting. They're losing a substantial amount of money by not being able to wrestle for these companies that will book them semi-regularly, if not completely regularly, and put them in top-class matches. Instead, they're going to be, like, of course, Progress and ICW are going to offer decent matches for them. I'd say Progress more than ICW, because ICW has definitely had a move more towards using homegrown Scottish talent again, which isn't necessarily a bad thing entirely, but do you want your top WWE, like, UK talent going against a guy who's just left the Asylum training school? Like, it's great exposure for the guy who's just trained, but for them, it might not be the best opportunity. Whereas if they were still allowed to wrestle for Defiant, and I know you guys have got certain opinions about Defiant, but if they're allowed to wrestle for Defiant and RevPro and companies like that still, not only do they earn that big payday, but they're still developing themselves, and they can work out on stuff outside of the WWE UK sphere that is the NXT UK shows, Progress, and ICW.
I really like your point about the Asylum, but for the purposes of the debate, obviously, I'm just going to say, no, it was terrible, awful, everything you said was wrong. Let me put this to you then. Okay, so Zach Gibson just sort of found himself under WWE contract. Do you think it was better for him that he worked for 5 Star Wrestling?
See, I wouldn't count 5 Star in my argument because they were a TV company. I use that term very loosely for them, obviously.
Company. You mean the word company, of course, which...
See, I think it's... Working for 5 Star was good because it got him working on a TV crowd more than, like, a company like Progress. Like, you know how much I love Progress. I love going to their shows and everything, and I subscribe to their on-demand service. And I do know they do a lot on production side, but it's different from a live TV show. So 5 Star does prepare you in a certain way for being a top heel on a television live promotion that was supposed to be going out to all these fans. They were expecting the same audiences as WWE, so he's still getting some experience and exposure on those shows.
I know what you're saying. I think I can't see how at the moment this input into the UK can be a bad thing. If you imagine it's like WWE are looking at the UK and going, right, that's where we need to be. So doesn't that, if anything, like put more spotlight in the UK as a whole, even if you're not necessarily directly involved with it? You know, sort of by osmosis, I guess.
You could say that, but then again, this is only going to be on the WWE network. They announced that the other day on Twitter that the NXT UK brand is going to be on the network.
Has that been confirmed now? Yeah, because I know they were very quiet and sketchy about it, which made me think it's almost certainly going to be just on the network.
So
innit?
I'd say it's going to have the same effect as NXT does on the American indies, which is like if you look at the American indies now, I'll use that example. NXT is a great thing. Like NXT is brilliant. It's the best thing WWE do probably.
Yeah.
But in terms of what it's done to the United States indies, they're struggling for talent now. They've got people coming up, but the quality of shows are nowhere near what we were used to 10 years ago. And I know part of that is because the British scene's come up quite a lot in this time. But every time they get a guy who starts to break through, they end up in Florida and they're not getting the same things the WWE UK guys are getting. But by restricting the way places the talent's allowed to go, you're going to end up in that same kind of like thing where you get a lot of regional talent again who aren't really breaking through greatly, and you're not getting those big US talents because the moment one guy does come through, he ends up signing.
Just to go back to your point about the struggling for talent, how many shows did you miss over WrestleMania weekend? Because I'll tell you this much, I tried to download every single one and watch every single one, and I didn't have time in my day. So think of how much talent. And yeah, there would have been some that were on multiple shows. Yeah, but like
a lot that were on. Like, a lot of the WrestleCon shows, for instance, had the same roster nearly every show.
But that's just a drop in the ocean of the talent. Like, admittedly, Keith Lee's signed now, or we assume he is, but Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, they were like the two big stars from there. But then you had like Walter, who were on it, Timothy Thatcher were on it for one of the ones I watched. Like, there were quite a lot of...
There is still talent there, but then, like, one of the guys you listed there, Timothy Thatcher's more over here now than he is in America. Walter is, he's Austrian, out of WXW. So it's hard to count them in the American indies scene. They're having to rely a lot more now on imports like the British scene had to 10 years ago, because a lot of their like ticket sellers are getting signed up and taken away. And you start to fear when they start saying, you can't wrestle for this company, you can't wrestle for that company. And then the fees the guys are charging are maybe too high for a lot of the smaller companies, which, to be honest, they're not going to get much out of wrestling for, so fair play on them for charging that much. It has to be worth their time. But you're going to end up with this, for at least a period, like a golfing talent, where anyone who's half decent is going to get signed, and the rest of them are going to be here on this level. And ultimately, it's going to have a negative effect, where people might watch the NXT UK shows, they've got WWE Network, and they sit with the kids, watch it and go, oh, these guys are great, let's go to a British wrestling show. And they go to a show that's got, Ronin or someone like that on it. They go to a UKW show or something like that. UKW are back on TV, by the way, I'll just point that out.
Okay.
I don't know whether they're allowed to use WWE talent or not. But Jonathan Sedgwick...
They don't need to, because they've got Jimmy Blood, so...
I know, he doesn't wrestle anymore. Jonathan Sedgwick
so
is
blood
still
won't
there.
have blood?
But yeah.
I mean, what are we supposed to do now? My entire belief system is shattered.
So compare it to... So you came to the corporation with me to see Southside a few years ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And the main event of that was Sami Callihan and Tommy End, who's now Aleister Black.
Yeah.
And in the past years, I've been to small shows in Sheffield. Like, I saw Ricochet wrestle in front of 120 people last year. And now he's in WWE. And there's lots of British guys at that same level. Like, we saw Pete Dunne on that show as well.
Okay.
And I saw Tyler Bate wrestle at Queen's Social Club. And these are all guys, they were on their way up at the time. But you're going to have this massive talent, goal for talent, where they're seeing guys that good. And unless you do what I do, which is go out of the way and spend quite a bit of money doing so to see top talent, you're going to take your kids to a local show and you're going to see crap. And it's only going to have a negative effect where you're like, well, they're not as good as those guys. And you end up like with what happened with the territories back in the day, where the WWF and WCW signed all the top talent and the indies were left with nothing.
Do you not think that if you are a casual wrestling fan and you catch this NXT UK brand, because you might not be casual if you've got the network, but then again, they've got the pay-per-views on there, so maybe you would be. But you see this NXT UK thing, and you're like, well, I'm going to go watch NXT UK. I don't think I haven't got kids, but like if my kids said, oh, Dad, I want to go watch Pete Dunne, I'd find a show that's got Pete Dunne on it, not, let's nip down Dome and see Brad Flash in a cage match in front of 4 people. So that was me.
Yeah.
Seven people, mate.
I mean, to be fair to Brad Flash, he does have some good talent on his shows.
Just so we're keeping up with the rules of the show.
Keep the rules.
I mean, I could read it out, but it's work related and I may get fired.
Can you anonymise it?
Can you give us something?
Handover. Completed availability checks for yesterday and today because I forgot to do it yesterday.
Good. Good. I'm glad those checks are completed. They are important.
Oh, and he's
not-
put in an extra bounce castles. That's good.
Yes.
It's not about the content. It's about keeping up appearances and
Exactly,
keeping some form of order to what
Yeah.
we're doing here.
Yeah.
Which is actually what you're supposed to be doing in this debate.
yeah.
So now
Yeah.
you're off your phone
Yeah.
with your little
So-
work text.
So
Come when I used to tell you to turn your phones off when we recorded because the
So-
original cables and stuff got interference from them.
Yeah.
it's got
I
flight
do.
mode.
I still put mine on flight mode. Well, how have
Yeah.
you got a message then?
It's got Wi-Fi.
Oh.
So
Flight mode turns off Wi-Fi.
no, you can have flight mode with Wi-Fi.
He's turned it on. So you've made a choice.
Yeah.
Well, it's his fault
But
then.
that still creates interference.
Well,
Yeah,
well, it
Daryl.
doesn't on this equipment because I've upgraded stuff.
so it doesn't create interference. Why are you're not meant to be debating with
Okay,
me?
I'm going to create some interference here by
Go on.
interfering in this fight.
Go on.
Right? Just pack it in.
Oh, cheers, mate. Right. So what about what do you think of Travis Banks signing with WWE? That's something I wanna put out there.
Why Travis Banks specifically?
It's going to lead into what Will Ospreay said.
Splendid. Okay, that's good. I think fair play to him. He'd do what he likes.
Yeah, I'm not going to debate this part. I think it's really great
Yeah.
for him. He's a guy who's come from, like, the story they told in the thing, that's completely true. He lived in an abandoned train car while he trained to wrestle, and then got an opportunity to wrestle for 0-1, and he's travelled all over the world to become the best he can be.
Okay. So Will Ospreay did a interview with a website that we
If
don't
you say,
talk
If
about.
you say the name, that's a £4
I'm
swear.
not putting
That
it.
is the rule.
That's why I didn't say it because I refused to, and I just like to apologise to you guys because I've really let you down, and my family and let them down because I
Of course.
kind of funded them by watching a video.
Yeah.
But it was research for the show, so
Right.
really I took one for the team.
You know, whilst you're apologising, do
Yeah.
you want to shill your new blog where you apologise further? Because, I mean, I gather that's how they do it. So
Right, I'll just point out this, like, to bring the tone down completely. The way you
Yes.
said it's for research made me think of the guitarist from The Who.
Oh, God.
Pete
don't talk about-
Townsend.
All I'm saying is, Pete, where's the
right,
book?
well,
Yeah, where's the book, Pete?
I didn't go on their website.
That was research too, Daryl.
Anyway.
Does it make it right?
Anyway, to find out about more about how sorry he is, go to ADAMBLAMP. No, sorry. No, it's
No,
it's
no.
not. It's not.
He said that
Will Ospreay, by the way.
Will Ospreay used Travis Banks as an example, and he said, "I'm using him as an example because he's my mate, and I think I can because we're mates." And I'd say this to his face, right?
Got a black friend, that's what you're saying.
Well,
Some of
I
our
don't-
friends are
I don't-
signed with NXT UK.
I'm letting you know that he said that because I don't
Yeah,
want you to
best
think
friend's
he's.
a buzzsaws.
I don't want you to think he's going. Oh,
Just
like
chucking names out there and having a go. Yeah, okay.
So he said
Because
that.
he would never do anything like that.
Well, he said that he thinks Travis Banks is lazy. That's the word he used for signing for WWE. Because he said he's been. I don't know if he's used the word dazzled by WWE or whatever, but like he was kind of saying that he's been like sort of like lured by the term WWE, whereas he could have stayed on the Indies.
Yeah.
And then he said maybe in the future, because what he said was he could have stayed on the Indies and gone to Ring of Honor or gone to New Japan. Then there was a little pause, and then he realised what he said. He was like, I mean, there's not been any offers, but in the future he could have gone to them.
Right.
Now, I'll put that out there for you guys. You don't have to be positive or negative against that. I just want to put that out there that he's.
Dude's 30, and he's been doing this for a long time already. Like, fair play on him for taking this opportunity. He's flown to another country to live and work, and then he's been given this opportunity. Like, as much as like I'm the type of guy who's like outside of this debate, I'm still like New Japan's my thing. Like, if I was a wrestler and I had the opportunity in WWE and New Japan, like the two offers on the table, I'd be on first plane to Tokyo. But that's me.
Yeah.
But then if you were Travis Banks, where you've toiled your entire life, and this one offer comes along, and then your mate's in the corner saying, well, you know, maybe I can put a word in for you, you'd be like, nah, I'm taking money and getting this opportunity.
Yeah, also, shut up, Will Ospreay. You're a moron.
He also said, in regards to Travis Banks,
This will be fun. Go on, because I definitely got stuff to say already. So fire me up, mate.
he said he's the top champion for the top
Right.
British wrestling company,
Right.
and he was one of the Rosebuds. He wasn't. He was on the conga line for No Way Jose, which I didn't realise it was, but
Okay, all
but
right.
that's what he meant.
Fine.
And he thought it was ridiculous that the top champion for the top British promotion had to resort to dancing down to the ring behind No Way Jose.
Right. So Will Ospreay's never done any of those things, I assume.
I don't know.
I genuinely don't know if he has one way or another, and I'm not going to spend the time researching now, but I'm going to make it my mission to find out something incredibly embarrassing that Will Ospreay has done for next week.
Okay.
Even if it's just being a jobber on something. Also, hasn't Will Ospreay worked for the promotion that shall not be named before they were Defiant?
Yeah.
That's worse.
Yeah.
Immediately worse. You worked on a promotion where you were secondary to someone who had a blog. Oh, I'm Will Ospreay, the fantastic talent, but also look at the main event featuring the guy who paid for that billboard that was £500 to try and get himself a job.
Oh, that one that I found about when Graeme shared it.
Yeah.
Like before he knew he was
Yeah.
a culture guy.
So there you go. Will Ospreay.
Did you just say what? Before he was
he did, yeah.
You just went, he shared it before he was and then you said the name.
Swore.
But you just said if I said the name, you'd have to pay.
I said if you said the name of the new blog.
Oh, you mean the current one, which I think they should be
Which
equal,
has been
but
referred to using a £4 swear word instead of the actual name. So that's what I was talking about.
I think they should be equal, but he's the one who owns the jar, so that's part of the problem with it.
No, the jar lives in his flat. I bought the jar.
Oh,
It's a birthday present.
Was it?
Yeah.
All right, your birthday present to me was a glass that lives in your cupboard, if you want to get technical, or Christmas present.
I said you could take it.
Neither of you know when my birthday is, so I don't know why you're having a go. I invited you to a birthday party, you didn't even know it, so there you go.
He's finally been able
Anyway.
to use that against us.
Yes, I got there. Right, let's go back to Will Ospreay whilst we just continue to wear our dirty laundry in public. Right, yeah, so there you are, Will Ospreay. So you're saying, it's ridiculous that the top champion... Right, it's ridiculous that someone who claims to be the best sort of light heavyweight in the world has to be on the undercard to Jack the Jobber or Ross the... Is it Ross the King?
Yeah.
Whatever, right? These people, you worked for that company, so don't be coming at Travis Banks, who's earning money, doing that.
Well, even then, like, even if you didn't want to criticise him for working for that company, you said, well, he did it because he got paid, and that's what Travis Banks is doing now. He's getting paid.
Yeah. Also, Will Ospreay calling someone else lazy, right? I just can't take him seriously. Not because he is lazy, but because he does the opposite and goes out of his way to show how not lazy he is. To an extreme point where I'm actually like, right, well, at what point is this no longer impressive? As we've discussed many times before, it's like he's at pains. He's got such a chip on his shoulder. He's got like an entire 1.5 kilo like McCain's oven chips on his shoulder. Like
Well, to go back into my position in this debate, I can use the example of Travis Banks' sometimes tag partner, Chris Brooks. Chris Brooks was offered a WWE contract and turned it down. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because what he's doing is he's taking a gamble on himself. Now, in fairness, Chris Brooks is a bit younger than Travis Banks. He's been wrestling for a long time, but hasn't gone through some of the hardships Travis Banks have. He hasn't moved to another country and stuff like that. But Chris Brooks has done the thing where he's thought, no, I'm going to take a gamble on myself. I'm going to stay truly independent and wrestle for who I want, charge my fees, make my merch, and try and make a name for myself outside of the systems. And that's to be applauded just the same. Like, I'm not going to say like what Will Ospreay said is right in any way. I think Travis Banks signing is a good thing. But in the same sense, I can say, well, good on Chris Brooks for staying independent and working for whatever company he wants.
Right, here's an interesting thing based on that then. So Chris Brooks is staying independent, working for whoever he wants, including being on the New Japan shows, right?
Yeah.
Or the RevPro shows, as we've discussed many times before. It'd be interesting to see now, based on Will Ospreay's theory of, bet on yourself and, he's lazy, whatever else and that. I would be very shocked if Chris Brooks then rocks up in New Japan, like proper New Japan. Even despite having sort of worked for them now.
Yeah.
Think about the UK Noah shows, right? Zack Sabre Jr. eventually got to Noah in Japan, and that was when he was on the undercard of the UK Noah shows. And it took him ages to even get to that point.
And
right?
he went and lived in the dojo and stuff.
Exactly.
And started from the bottom.
Yeah.
On the same thing of that, though, like, I don't completely disagree with that point. I think we're getting closer than ever now to RevPro doing co-branded shows in Japan the same way Ring of Honor does, which allows for talent crossover, possibly in the Best of Super Juniors or maybe even the G1, where they send the talent into the tournaments. It's mentioned on this week's A Squared podcast. We're not supposed to listen to a podcast.
Yeah, all right. Well, you're definitely not supposed to plug them.
It's
they're barely interested enough to listen to us. I mean, please keep listening. We love you.
It's a good show. It's on the same network as us as well, so they can listen to it after they listen to us.
Okay, that's fine then. Right, well, it leads in.
Different release
I
date.
didn't realise we were sisters.
Yeah. But they
Sorry,
talk about
brothers.
their saying,
Scissor Sisters.
like, some of the stuff for this weekend shows, which are technically, like you said, RevPro shows, were set up on New Japan shows. Like the Ishii Suzuki was set up at Dominion, the second biggest show of the year, to happen on a RevPro show, pretty much.
Will it also happen at New Japan shows at some point, though?
Probably, but of course it will, because they do redo matches sometimes.
Yeah.
But for the match for the British Heavyweight Championship, which that was setting up, is happening in UK on what is New Japan shows that RevPro are running. I'd say there is opportunities and stuff there, but it's not as clear cut as Will Ospreay's making out, where, like, oh, you just don't sign with WWE and you can get a chance with one of these companies. Chris Brooks is taking the opposite thing of, like, no, I'm going to be independent. If I get the opportunity, I'll take it, but I'll not be signing the contract. I'm going to stay an independent talent.
Can I also point out that the first night of the WWE United Kingdom Championship tournament, right, Will Ospreay was tweeting, "Oh, good luck to everybody. I wish it's something like it's a shame I can't be part of it. I wish I was part of it."
Right.
Definitely tweeted something like that. So now, like a couple of years later, oh, you're all lazy. Oh, I'm not mardy about it at all.
Well, it's spoilers. He's on World of Sport tapings. So.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Now that's an interesting thing. Where does that tie into what you've got here? Because it's interesting that someone like Will Ospreay, and I don't know if he is Zack Sabre Jr. on them as well?
No,
he could have been though. I bet
Dave Boy Smith Jr.'s on a minute.
he is. I know he is. Is he still working for New Japan?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, he's part of
I haven't heard
Suzuki.
a lot about him lately. I know, but I haven't heard a lot about him.
I think it's because
Imagine
there were
being
charges against him that were only recently dropped.
Right, yeah.
For punching Jake Roberts at
yeah, there is
WrestleCon.
that. Yeah. That's why I remember that happening.
Did he punched Jake the Snake Roberts?
Yeah, at WrestleCon.
I don't remember.
Did he throw coffee in his face?
Yeah, and then he punched him. He went
Why?
up to his booth at WrestleCon and attacked him.
Why?
But, yeah, because
he's an
Jake the Snake was like allegedly having a go at his dad and that. And like, oh, your dad was a bit of a bad one. And he was like, right, well, I'm going to go and throw coffee in your face and punch you in the face. So Jake the Snake Roberts said bad words about his daddy. So he went and physically assaulted a
did he
60, 70-year-old man somewhere.
If he did that to Jake Roberts, imagine what he did to his mum when she released that book. Yeah.
Ooh, that made it very awkward very quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
So World of Sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, not that this is the same debate, but is it positive that they've ruined World of Sport?
What do you mean they've ruined World of Sport?
Well, sign up all the best ones from World of Sport, haven't
Well,
they?
they've signed up a lot of the best ones, haven't they? But it's interesting that someone like Will Ospreay would be on World of Sport as well. So is that lazy on his part for just taking that? Oh no, because he did lots of flips, so that's fine. So that's not lazy. So just keeping track here. Will Ospreay rules. More flips equals not lazy. No flips and signing for NXT UK equals lazy. Just remember that. Okay.
World of Sport has some great talents, but I don't think they've put any restrictions on their talents that we know about yet.
Well, they can't on the New Japan ones they're using.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I think the only restriction is that they can't work for WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I wouldn't be remotely surprised. This is entirely speculative, but I wouldn't be remotely surprised if they were very willing for them to work for WWE, and WWE were like, yeah, no.
Yeah, we don't want Grado.
No.
Then again, World of Sport.
Oh, no, I wasn't thinking in that sense, although, yes. But I was thinking more in the sense of World of WWE going, well, you're wrestling for a competing brand, so we don't want you.
Yeah.
Rather than fat and with a bum bag. Sorry. No tar. Bye, Grado. With your little baseball cap.
I watched Grado on Best Friends this weekend. It was actually a good interview, and I was surprised that he wasn't too keen on talking about penises at all. I thought that'd be right up his street.
Grado's had some really bad personal stuff happen to him recently.
Yeah.
It's really upsetting for Grado.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Basically, his mum died not very long ago.
Oh,
The mum that was in the Insane Fight Club too.
Yeah.
That reminds me of something. I've got something to talk about after this, and it relates to this. Yes, get
Okay.
in. And then I think his grandma died or something really recently as well.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really upsetting for him. Genuinely, that's really sad.
It's worth watching.
He's still contracted to Impact, isn't he?
Yeah, it's worth
dear.
watching that thing because most of it is him talking about the fact that he just met Stone Cold Steve Austin before they filmed it. Because he's in the room next door to where they're filming all the high spot stuff.
Okay.
And
is it like a WrestleCon or something?
yeah, it's
Okay.
WrestleCon weekend, and the fact that he was anxious about asking Jeremy Borash for free tickets for WrestleMania because he'd not been there long, even though JB's one of his best friends and stuff. But eventually he rings someone up and asks them on the show, and they get him tickets, and then he gets annoyed because he spills food down his Job Squad t-shirt, and he was going to wear that to WrestleMania. So he's quite good.
You could probably get a t-shirt for £10 outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the kind of person that would get a t-shirt outside for £10.
Yeah, it's part of his gimmick.
Yeah.
Like with that bum bag, he's the kind of person to be selling the t-shirt outside for £10.
Don't be dissing the bum bags.
Get your t-shirts! £10!
Don't.
Grado hats! Get your Grado hats! Said Grado. Yes, I remembered what I was going to talk about, so I'm just going to double check this. So we know, obviously, we talked about Insane Fight Club, didn't we?
I thought you were saying Insane Clown Posse then.
No one talks about them.
Oh no, but there's something good happening involving Insane Clown Posse. I don't know if it's worth mentioning.
Have they realised like how magnets work?
No, you know how they do Bloody Mania
That's
every
my
year?
favourite lyric in any song ever.
Well, they do Bloody Mania every
Effing
year.
magnets, man. How do they work?
You know what one of the matches is at Bloody Mania?
No.
Human Tornado versus David Arquette.
Human Tornado's still going?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously David Arquette's
And
been
he's-
working the indies for years.
And he's
But-
wrestling David Arquette at Bloody Mania.
Right.
Do you not want to see that at all? I do.
Yeah, and this is only happening because WWE have got a brand in the UK.
Yes,
And that-
exactly.
yeah.
Directly
You said
linked.
there's no talent on the indies,
Well, there's
mate.
something that is linked to the WWE brand of the UK and could be a little bit of a bump in the road, but this is completely speculative based off of me. Right.
Okay.
Announced a day ago, and of course it's coming from me, so
Okay.
I'm going to slip into my accent now.
I noticed that.
Yeah. Ofcom approves BBC Scotland TV channel.
Yeah.
What would that what sort of impact could that possibly have on any sort of wrestling thing? Well, I'll tell you what impact it could have on any sort of wrestling thing. They
You
are
keep saying Impact, which makes me think you're going to say Impact's going to be on it.
Oh, bloody hell no. New programmes that reflect Scottish life, including the opportunity to premiere some new comedy and drama. But
It's going to be Train Spotting just 24/7.
just that. Sometimes they'll show
People swimming in public toilets.
sometimes they'll show Train Spotting too. Okay.
There'll be an aspirational show in the daytime about Edinburgh.
Oh, what you mean England too? My mum's from Edinburgh. She's gonna kill me. No, I'm
I
only
don't think
kidding.
your mum listens.
No, exactly. Plus, she's also busy sewing Pete Dunne's costumes back
Now,
together.
you've got 10 grand to put in a house. We could get you one in Glasgow, or for an extra 5 grand, we can get you one in Edinburgh that has windows.
I know your mum doesn't listen to the podcast.
Yep.
Because I went to your house a few weeks, your mum and dad's house a few weeks back to see Little Mo Farouk, and she didn't immediately kick me out for the vile things that I've said.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so
I
she
thought you were
can't
gonna
listen. Yeah.
She told you that she didn't own a swimsuit.
No, although his own mum did that. Never forget that. So my theory behind this is ICW's been on Insane Fight Club on BBC Three a couple of times. This is a Scotland exclusive channel,
Yeah.
right? Maybe I'm putting two
Their
together
new show will
and
be
getting
on it.
406. Well, exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
But it's not technically a well, it is a wrestling show, but it's not. It's kind of like that.
You mean the reality show?
Yeah,
Basically, it's like one of these.
It's like The Office, but
No.
what's you know the show with the SAS guys. I can't remember the name.
Yeah,
of it.
Who Dares Wins.
Who Dares Wins.
It's like
It's kinda
Who Dares
like that, but
Wins,
wrestling.
but like Who Wrestles Wins.
They're
I literally have never seen Who Dares Wins. I couldn't even.
Right.
tell you
Well,
what-
all I know about it is that it's like they get sort of regular blokes who want to challenge themselves, and they put them under SAS training. This is again, they get like, is it supposed to be rowdy people?
Yeah, they want like
wasn't
Neds.
that the full-on angle they did with Grado when he turned up and in the crowd and
British
stuff?
boot camp.
No, I just mean Grado in ICW.
Yeah.
It was a crowd winning
Oh,
with
yeah,
like
yeah.
Buck Grado. Is that?
but it's more like if that was Ravy Davey.
Oh yeah.
So they want people who actually are Ravy Davey in real life, and they're going to put them through a wrestling boot camp and see if it turns the life around.
I'm not sure.
I think Lionheart's one that coaches on it.
Oh God.
I also watched a 2-hour interview with Lionheart from the ICW channel, and it's actually pretty
I
decent.
can imagine it's
Right.
very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
In what way? In that it's hilarious, or in
Well,
that,
put
like,
it this
I'm
way:
just joking?
we've had no quotes from it because it's not hilarious. Like,
Right, okay,
like,
yeah, fair
he
enough.
actually admits he were at fault for breaking his own neck on Styles Clash. But he is sat there with a Lionheart. He's still a fanny T-shirt, and it really annoys me that he makes money from that.
yeah, it's a bit annoying. Right, here you are. So BBC, are you a self-confessed rebel, a troublemaker living by your own rules? Do you have attitude and energy to burn?
I've got all them things.
Firecracker Films are looking for rogues and outcasts to take part in a brand new BBC series.
I could be a rogue.
And basically, the idea of it is that you'll train, battle, and grow both inside and outside the ropes, with the hopes of becoming part of Scotland's top wrestling organisation.
Definitely becoming. It'll be like Tough Enough, but they actually use the talent.
It's Mark Dallas and Jack Jester.
Jack
that are
Jester.
involved in this. Yeah, I think Jack Jester's I think a lot of it's going to be at the garage. It's not the garage.
Asylum.
The asylum. The Glasgow Pro Wrestling Asylum / Academy.
Well, the other coach is Wolfgang there, so I'm guessing he can't be on the show.
Well, but that's the question. If ICW are in bed with WWE and ICW are also in bed with the BBC, does it break the relationship or does it only strengthen the relationship? And will ICW eventually be the first British wrestling product ever to be on the BBC?
Oh, maybe.
It's a hunch based on absolutely nothing. I don't
know because I don't.
It will. Let me be abundantly clear on this.
I know I made fun
way.
of BBC Scotland earlier as well, but they have good art shows.
Yeah,
I just thought I'd point that
Okay.
one out because I do get them on the on-demand thing.
And let me be abundantly clear: if it wasn't BBC Scotland only channel, there's zero chance this would happen. Even on BBC Three, it wouldn't happen. But because it's BBC Scotland, I think there is a chance it might.
Okay.
There's 100% guaranteed that this reality show will be on the BBC. Those BBC's commissioned it, but I think there is a chance that they might be working towards an ICW show on BBC television.
Okay. So NXT UK.
Yeah.
Does that create an easier pathway to get to WrestleMania? Let's say that's the goal. Let's say WrestleMania is the goal. Let's say your little Ned from Glasgow's going ICW.
Ned from Glasgow.
It's because he said Ned earlier.
Yeah.
Ned the Ned.
Ned.
Double N.
And his dreams.
Ned in the Ned, a bit like Noggin in the Nog.
His dreams to be on WrestleMania. Realistically, he's going to be on pre-show, but at best.
Yeah.
But his dreams to be WrestleMania. Is it better for him to go on indie scene, hopefully get signed by proper NXT, and then go main roster that way, or does he go through NXT UK? Because I see this as just a thing where we'll chuck all UK ones on there. Pete Dunne will be on TakeOver. Rest of you lads do your own thing.
Yeah, see, I said I was going to say I'm in two minds about it because if you go on the NXT UK shows, you're in a massive pool of talent who are all in that step. Whereas if you can make a name for yourself outside of WWE and make a name for yourself to the point that WWE's clawing to get you and want to push you to the moon, then I think you've got a better opportunity at doing that outside almost. Obviously, signing with WWE NXT seems like the easiest route, and it probably is.
Some would say the laziest route.
You mean Will Ospreay would say the laziest? Let's be very specific. Will Ospreay would say.
So let's
Will Ospreay, who'll be in a wheelchair by the time he's Travis Banks' age.
So let's say by this time next year, or by the end of next year, Chris Brooks' gamble has paid off, and he's getting flown out to America every other weekend to work for some of the indies there. He's going all over the place. He's working for every top British company, and he's a guy who people are paying to see, and they already buy all his merch. His merch sells out ridiculously quick already. But let's say by the end of next year, he's at that point, and WWE are just like, we tried to get him once, we need to give him a better deal. And because it's almost like the AJ Styles gamble, when he left TNA and they came to him with a lowball offer, and he said no, and made a name for himself outside, and then he went to WrestleMania. I know he had New Japan to help him do that, but what's to say Chris Brooks doesn't get that opportunity? He could be the next person to step into that thing. He hasn't got the background that AJ Styles had before going into this opportunity, but that way, it's probably a harder road in one way, but then I feel like if you can do that hard part first, then the next bit's easier than signing a WWE contract now and being in the WWE UK, on the NXT UK brand and trying to get up that way.
I would say, here's something to consider in sort of a slight counterpoint to that, right? What's to say that NXT UK doesn't come up to the same standard and even possibly surpass the standard of NXT in Florida? Because, right, if you think about the quality of the show, and they've deliberately come across here, this is what they chose to do this, right? No one was... obviously we all hoped they would do something like this at some point, but realistically, I don't think anyone was really. If you'd asked 10 years ago, if you said 10 years, WWE will be begging to come to the UK to do a show over here, you'd be like, yeah, of course they will. Yeah, it won't just be us going, oh, please give us WrestleMania. We'll accept your terrible Raw tapings and your bad SmackDown tapings. Please give us more shows. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna go. We went to see Ricky Hatton.
Yeah, we're all
I
right.
read that show too.
Were you?
Yeah.
What's that Wales?
Huh?
No, I weren't. I don't think.
Oh,
No, I was with Naomi and Jules.
This is really awkward.
yeah, it's got really awkward now.
Because I stayed at the Travelodge next to, not at the Travelodge even. I stayed at the hotel next to the arena rather than go home each night. That's what I remember about the tapings. And then CM Punk did a.
That's how good the tapings were. He remembers that.
I remember that CM Punk did a promo.
He had a good T-shirt that day.
It was when he was in the Straight Edge Society and he did a promo about chewing tobacco, which I know for a fact I was the only person in that arena that used chewing tobacco at the time. That was definitely aimed at American
Hipster.
audiences.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Either that
paying
or
for it
he's
now,
aiming
but
directly at you.
toothless.
So. Anyway, yeah. So they were desperate to compete. So what's to say that in the next year or two, the NXT UK isn't on a par with NXT in Florida? Because NXT in Florida has taken some hits in terms of talent when the roster members are going up, and that's only going to keep happening. What's to say that they don't build the UK and build the UK more until eventually they're going, actually, we might take some guys from the UK instead?
My counterpoint to that to go to Daryl's thing about easy road to WrestleMania. I think the ratio would probably be 1 to 6 or 7, maybe more, of talents that come up from NXT and make it onto a WrestleMania. Like, it's still a better ratio than if you're on the Indies, but it's still not the best path for a lot of guys, because, in the same year that they brought up a ton of talent from NXT, AJ Styles appeared on WrestleMania, and he went through that path of staying outside WWE. He didn't go to NXT.
Ty Dillinger was on the pre-show Battle Royal, just saying.
Yeah.
Does that count as being on WrestleMania? Because you said it was in the pre-show.
For some wrestlers, it's as good as it's ever going to get. Zack Ryder.
I mean, like...
No, unfortunately, no. He won the Intercontinental Championship once.
I mean,
sickening.
Technically, that does count, but at the same time, in your head, can you picture Ty Dillinger at WrestleMania?
Well, I literally saw it, so...
you'll have watched it. You'll have watched it, but can you picture...
If I had to specify...
You remember, like, Ty Dillinger at WrestleMania?
Yeah, he did the 10 thing.
He did
the 10 thing, and it was a big WrestleMania. Yeah, I mean,
it was a WrestleMania moment.
The problem is it literally happened, so that's where the issue is.
Yeah, of course it'll have happened, because that's what he does.
But I mean, I don't know what you're asking me here. If you're asking me, can I picture it? Yes, I saw it.
You can actually remember him.
Yeah, literally, I remember him standing there, because I think about 2 seconds later he got chucked out, but I remember it happening.
Because you're saying Ty Dillinger.
I mean, you're asking someone with a pseudo-autistic memory, so that could be the problem here.
Because saying to me, Ty Dillinger was in the Battle Royal.
He's relatively normal, and by normal I mean normal for a racist.
Normal for the type of guy who do a wrestling podcast. But like you said, Ty Dillinger at WrestleMania, I went, yeah, of course he was, because everyone's in that Battle Royal. But I can't, in my head, think, oh yeah, I remember him. He was stood in the top.
Yeah, he did the 10 thing. Remember?
Yeah, see, like that's.
Oh.
Like, I could have said that, but genuinely, like I just agree with you and be like, yeah, of course you were at WrestleMania, but I don't.
New decoration details and notices.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't actually. I can't picture him in the ring at WrestleMania. I can imagine what it was like, but I don't know for sure. I'm just taking your word for it.
Well, I mean, if you go to the WWE Network, you'll be able to literally see it.
Yeah. But is that as good as having an actual match rather than being a battle royal for 2 minutes?
Well, I'm guessing that most wrestlers would want to have an actual match at WrestleMania. Of course, they would. But if you
was going to lose to Chris Jericho,
all I'm saying is I don't know if Noam Dar were injured when it were WrestleMania or what. But if you said to Noam Dar, right, you're on pre-show battle royal. This is Noam Dar who like wrestled for ICW, like clearly like not the prototypical WWE superstar that they look for, like due to his size.
I think his second wrestling trip south of the border was for SSW.
Right.
It's second or third.
But what I'm saying is, if you said to him a few years back, sign with this NXT, I know it's a bit different, but sign with NXT UK brand and you'll get onto pre-show battle royal, snap your hand off, wouldn't he?
Probably, but then there'd be some talent who'd think,
Ooh,
no,
bit
I'll
lazy, innit?
or I'll go away and make a name for myself. So when I sign, they don't want me for pre-show battle royal. They want me for IC title match.
Could you not make an argument that AJ Styles is an exception? Because you can't. I don't think there's anybody else that's done that.
Not in recent memory, especially not since NXT. There's not many people that's been able to do that jump.
No, and actually, you could say that Neville did that, right? And he sort of went through NXT as well. But now look, he's just sort of stuck in the quagmire, isn't he?
Yeah, that's WWE.
Because he thinks he's better than he is. It's little Neville.
I quite like that he stood up for himself and didn't want to lose to Enzo
me too.
Amore.
Yeah, me too. But for the sake of devil's advocate, he can't.
Once Amore got released, I'd have been ringing Triple H up going, so was I wrong? was I wrong?
He probably did, and that's probably why he's like, I'll read Trips Pet. How's that Enzo Amore doing? I don't know what.
Gazza, is that you?
I brought some chicken and some fishing rods. I used to be able to sustain a Geordie accent. I can't really do it now. I'm sure any actual Geordies are screaming at me, but
you won't be able to understand them anyway.
All right, he said that, not me. He said that, not me. Right, we're northern cousins in a way.
Yeah, the Al Murray joke. Good on Newcastle for keeping it in such a state it stops Scottish people from getting further south.
Ah, great. Good old Al.
Pub
Murray.
lad.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that just a joke that went wrong? That's all I'm going to say about Al Murray, right? It was supposed to be a joke on the people that eventually ended up liking it anyway.
Yeah, that's why I don't do Pub Landlord that much anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Does the NXT UK brand kill Progress? And maybe ICW, but mainly Progress.
Do you think it kills it like a virus, where it spreads inside it and they don't realise until it's too late?
Yeah.
I could see the issue being when any talent get really good, they'll start having constraints put on them because they sign for WWE.
What do you mean by that?
Well, say for instance Pete Dunne when he was WWE.
Well, can't do Spanish flies on the apron, Will Ospreay.
But like he can't job, so they're very careful about what stories they have to put him in because he can't take a pinfall.
Yeah, but that's been like that for a long time. There were a stretch of time when TNA were getting very political and none of their talent were allowed to use to lose on British wrestling shows. That might be why Biss was first champion.
Well, quick one PW story.
Didn't he beat only TNA guys?
Yeah.
Well, the one PW story we can.
Although I always predicted he was going to be the champion for that, do you know?
We've told it on the show before, I'm sure, but Nigel McGuinness and Darren Burridge had a feud, and the match that Burridge was finally supposed to win. Just before that, Nigel McGuinness won the Ring of Honor title.
Yeah, he did.
And Gabe Sapolsky, who was booker at the time, told him he couldn't job to Darren Burridge. So Gauntlet sent a begging email to Gabe Sapolsky to allow him to take a pinfall. So eventually it was agreed to do the 4-all draw in a 45-minute Ironman match that went. Was it just under 45 minutes?
Yeah.
It weren't spot on, was it?
No.
As much as the guy who had the stopwatch at ringside claims it was spot on.
Anyway. No, was it not?
Yes.
No, I thought he was talking about me because I was
you do wrong.
at the commentary table with Steve Aaron, making sure that he announced the times right because I got threatened.
Excellent.
Which is a story we'll tell at a later date.
Splendid. October.
But that's not the only constraint that could be put on them. It could be constraints of characters and things like that, and it's only going to stifle their creativity in a way. Even though there's already criticisms that Progress haven't been as creative in the recent years than they were previously, but that's beside the point. With the WWE UK talent, they're kind of like, it could be edicts like, oh, we want you to use this talent in a certain way, and then they have to book around that rather than it just being them creating stars. And ultimately, it could lead to the thing where talent are pulled off shows and they're left with a gulf that they have to fill with other talent, which is good for those other talent, but at the same time, it's kind of costing Progress of their top guys.
I know you could say that, they've got form for this and they might change, Left has never changed their spots, eventually this is what will happen. But let's look at the form they've got so far. Every time they have needed to pull a talent for, or they've needed to exert this sort of creative control, even if it's just for injuries and stuff, what have they done?
Oh yeah, they've made up.
They've made good in big ways. Like Dakota Kai wrestled on the Sheffield Progress show that we were there. They didn't have to do that. Cassius Ohno was part of Super Strong South 16,
Well, that wasn't a make good for anyone pulled off. That was just a thing that happened.
but he wrestled on the final night as a
Yeah.
make good for Tyler Bates' injury.
Was it actually a make good or was it a...
Not the point. The point is it was presented as such.
Yeah.
Triple H appeared at ICW to say sorry for the fact that a bunch of their talent was on the WWE UK shows that week. You know, they've got... So far, all the evidence says it's okay. Now, I'm sure you asked Dave Meltzer.
Oh no! So far, it's okay for the ones that are in bed with WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's a problem for the ones who aren't.
Well, I
So-
think Evolve get Cassius Ohno, don't they? Sometimes,
They got Adam Cole this weekend.
but yeah, because they're in bed with WWE,
Gabe Sapolsky works for NXT.
right? Jim Smallman works for WWE. I've said it.
Yeah.
I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, he does.
Conveniently quits his comedy career on the weekend that WWE or the week 2 weekends before WWE NXT UK is announced. Progressor working with WWE. It all screams a bit. Jim Smallman works for WWE, doesn't it?
He's got a book coming out that's looking like it might hit towards the top of the bestsellers list as well.
Yeah, but I mean, he's right. He definitely does the work for WWE, though, doesn't he? Like,
And he's been booked
it's
for
fine.
NXT
Good
as
for
well.
you.
Oh, Jim Smallman.
Yeah, he's going to be at World Tag League doing his
Yeah.
History of Pro Wrestling show after the first night of Tag League.
What?
Is he not just there to get battered by whoever Pete Dunne's facing at Wembley, though?
Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah.
And it's after that show.
Oh,
Anyway, I
Still
still think it's a conspiracy and he works for WWE.
right.
But all I'm saying is that they've looked after ICW and Progress. They look after Evolve. I don't think
What
they're going to do
about-
a make good with PCW.
So, like we
Yeah,
mentioned,
but
with,
who wants to?
We mentioned, like we were chatting earlier, and I said that Pete Dunne worked a bunch of shows for Future Shock.
Maybe they could order some DVDs from PCW and see if PCW actually deliver them.
But like, if Pete Dunne was booked for Future Shock, and he's a massive draw for Future Shock, or they use Zach Gibson all the time and James Drake, and suddenly WWE pull them, I don't think they're going to make a make good for Future Shock. They've got to make do with what they've got. So unless you're in bed with them, it's going to damage you.
Yeah, but then do you think could it damage you in long run if you are in bed with them because your talent do you have to use their talent, their approved talent in future? Like now it's all right, but
See, that's the thing. Like we don't know how the landscape's going to change as this progresses, and you can see that like WWE, if they're going to be booking guys in a certain way, they'll want them to be portrayed that way throughout the shows they're on. And Cassius Ohno's an example of someone's allowed to work other shows, but at the same time, he's at the latter stage of his career, and even in NXT, he's kind of used as a guy to put people over. So it doesn't matter when he goes and loses to people. But say like Zach Gibson was a big part of the first NXT UK shows. He challenged Pete Dunne for the title. It could be the point where after this, where they're like, well, we don't want him. We want people tapping out instantly to the Shankly gates, and we want people like we don't want him jobbing, and that has an effect on all the companies he might work for that aren't necessarily in bed with WWE but are allowed to use the UK talent, because then they've got to work around the constraints put around. It could lead to them being more creative and like using those constraints to better themselves. But in a lot of cases, I feel like it's just going to lead to issues.
Is this so different then to World of Sport coming in, muscling in everybody and saying, right, these are our talents now? You could... What's stopped them from doing exactly the same thing? And is the WWE NXT UK brand not just a reaction to that?
I'll tell you how it's different in everybody's mind, because Alex Shane were involved. So it's
Yeah.
UK wrestling, it's World of Sport, it's wrestling we'll remember, you know, when like you and Grandad used to watch it.
I mean, they nicked WXW's venue, not WXW, WAW.
Yeah,
And that's but Grant Holt in response.
exactly.
No, but what I'm saying is that it's not seen as bad as WWE because it's a UK brand in World of Sport. I don't know if Alex Shane's still involved, but he
think
won
as
it
well,
first.
But NXT UK is run by Jim Smallman, so it's fine.
I think the other part of this as well.
Yeah, I
is
said it,
that
Jim. Come at me,
World of
bro.
Sport, they're in this discussion definitely, but they're kind of out of sight, out of mind at the moment because we haven't got a set date for the taping for the show actually airing, and we're not hearing anything from that at the moment. So this discussion's going on because NXT UK was announced. So that one's still to kind of be seen once World of Sport start being an actual thing on TV and how well it does, to see how far this goes. But then they've got companies in their thing that like they're working with NGW and companies like that and bringing talent in from there. So we could see the same things happen to those companies that what happened to the WWE associated companies.
Monday Night War.
In Norwich
Yes.
with Grant Holt.
Yeah.
Where do you think Grant Holt fits into all this?
Grant Holt will be like, when ECW guys showed up ringside on that episode of Raw.
Yeah.
He'll be the Sandman
Yeah.
showing up ringside, and Roy Knight's Tommy Dreamer.
I was thinking more like when XPW guys showed up at ECW and the XPW players all got paggered.
I was thinking it's more like Shane Douglas turned up to a random episode of Raw like in mid-2000s and tried to start an ECW channel and everyone went, why is my teacher here?
Why is the guy who reviews Thomas the Tank Engine games here?
Oh, God, I remember that. I remember reading the next day Shane Douglas was on Raw. I was like, wow, that's really weird. That's a really weird pick to bring back from ECW. It's just to the crowd, mate. With a sign saying, "This is Shane Douglas." And a photo of him when he looked like Shane Douglas. And his Target management gear on.
Assistant to the manager.
Yes, to the Target manager, yeah, definitely. Good. That seems like a good way to round it off.
I really feel like we need to wrap up with one final point, but I'm not prepared.
Well, instead of wrapping up with a final point, can I make an announcement?
Yes.
You both looked at me kind of worried then, but I told you what I didn't say I was going to make the announcement, but I told you what the announcement would probably be, like just earlier. But while we're talking about British wrestling, in the ad break for this, and for many months, we've been promising the One PW show, and it's coming soon. Not that soon though. So we've agreed, because of our schedules and stuff, and we've kept having to delay it. It is going to happen, and we are definitely going to do it, and we've given ourselves months to prepare, and we're saying a date this time and sticking to it. The first weekend in October, which will be the 12th anniversary. I know it's not a nice round like a 5 or a 10, but the 12th anniversary of their first show, we will do the first year of 1PW.
It's a bit of an issue. Like, do you know, if council want to book that week, then maybe we'll have to move it to a smaller venue, and then it'll be called still no regrets.
But then we'll have to do it over 2 nights and give them a bit more money.
Yeah. If I arrive at that venue and it's got paint falling off the walls and one woman holding up the bar pouring glasses of, like...
Look, let me just say, the reason why it's been delayed is because we're trying to find Cocaine Lorraine.
And that took us down a dark path that we can't talk about legally.
I didn't know they still did Victoria lanterns and stuff like that down dark alleyways of Doncaster.
Doncaster doesn't have any alleyways. They were all burned down. Like the Granby.
They did move the slums and build barrack houses on them.
Right, that's it for the Royal Grumble for this week. Thank you very much for listening. We appreciate it very, very much. Don't forget to go to facebook.com/Royal Grumble. I'll tell you what we do need people to do, and I'm going to encourage everyone to do this. Can you, if you have Apple Podcasts, can you go to Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review, please? I don't often beg for things, but like all I'm saying is, if you rate us 2 stars less than the Kenny Omega and Okada
all I'm
match,
saying is 5 stars isn't a lot to ask for, because if you think about it, it's a 7-star scale.
Yeah,
we just want to rate it 5 stars. 5
no,
out of
it's
7.
a 5-star scale, but 7 out of 5.
No, we can't be rated 7.
Okay, well, we'll take 5.
No, because if we ask for 5 out of 5, they think, oh, cocky.
Yeah, you're right.
So we only want 5.
You know what I'll do to add an incentive to it?
Go on.
The best review over the next month, I will send you a Roman Reigns pop vinyl figure.
There you go.
We want 5-star reviews.
And the worst review, we will also send you a Roman Reigns, because, I mean...
There has to be... I've got in my head there has to be a minimum... If only one person reviews it, I'm not sending you the figure. So multiple people have to do it. Make it a competition.
But please, yes, if you haven't done so already, please leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Well, it's not iTunes anymore, it's Apple Podcasts, but it allows us to climb up the ranks. It might seem that some more people listen to us, and then it might mean that you get more stuff available, more content available, and more prizes available, which would be a fantastic thing.
Also, go rate us on Google Podcasts or Stitcher as well.
Basically, anywhere
the rankings.
Wherever you listen to us on podcasts, please just take 2 minutes out of your day just to rank us 5 stars. We really, really appreciate it.
Pip your own at me when I play it out my car stereo as well.
That. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you will find him on the corner, but not for that reason. That's it. So yes, and don't forget to go to facebook.com/Royal Grumble, go to twitter.com/Royal Grumble pod, twitch.tv/Royal Grumble. You can find Dan's entire New Japan Strong Style of Old UK preview on there.
It is available on the archive, but I'm also going to set it... This will be going out after I've set it up on.
And you also
reruns.
downloaded it on your feed, so congratulations to you guys. That's it. Say goodbye.
We're on Instagram.
Go on then. I didn't know that.
Royal Grumble Pod.
How'd you come up with the name?
I linked it from the Twitter page.
Oh, well done. That's it. Say goodbye, Daryl.
Goodbye, Daryl.
Goodbye, Dan.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.